Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our regular Sunday service. I'm Edna Sensei, and I'll be conducting the service. You can join me in prayer. Mediation prayer, page 2. Let us seek the sacred mediation of Konko Wahiawa, sincerely and wholeheartedly each and every day. May we receive the mediation menu with all our hearts and souls on this day, this very moment. Yami Konko Daijin Sama, Yami Konko Daijin Sama, Yami Konko Daijin Sama, Yami Konko Daijin Sama. Purification prayer. Through the way of mediation, may our sincere apologies be acceptable to you, our divine authority. We acknowledge our mistakes and misunderstandings, arrogance and ignorance of your divine favor. We apologize for all our shortcomings and irreverences from past generations. Guide us to amend our way of living to reflect your divine will, with a pure, joyful, and loving heart, always one with you. Kami prayer. Reverently we pray. The radiance of heaven, the radiance of earth, come clothed with our seas, just us without them. In heaven and earth is the light that nurtures all. In heaven and earth is the truth that holds us all. For this wondrous home, for these wondrous works, let us praise and Kami. Let us praise the divine parent of the universe. Kami loves and cares for all humanity, all those who live between heaven and earth. To hear Kami of divine prayer, so they become His infinite blessings to this day. Yet many, not knowing the way, are lost in needless selfishness. They suffer the cycle of misfortunes, greatest common sorrow. Our Godly Father, Konko, suffered many trials in this world, but held fast to faith and sincerity. We receive Kami's great blessings, and we am the light for mutual fulfillment of Kami and humanity. Humbly we pray. The divine parent which was fulfilled. Konko Daijin accepted the call to mediation that leads to the mutual benefit of Kami and humanity. By day he taught the way of faith to all who sought him, expounding the blessings of heaven and earth, and he knew not the coming of night. By night he prayed for those who grieved, seeking salvation for all who suffered, and even at the dawning of day. Though years passed, the world changed. He did not waver from his task, the divine task of mediation. Thus was given the sacred shape of his head, the guiding principle for our daily life. The divine favor was renewed, and blessings slowly and refreshingly establishing the way of eternal prosperity, the way of mediation of Konko Daijin. By this wondrous revelation, we are given knowledge of the way, through all the hardships of this world, through pain of body and soul. The way of mediation teaches us to turn our hearts to Kami, without regard for day or night, whether we are near or far. The way of mediation teaches us to pray with total trust. For living unaware of divine favor, we offer our sincere apologies and pledge to mend our ways. Let us live our faith every day, seeking and rejoicing in our divine favor. Let us care for those in pain and invite them to the way. Let us guide those who are lost and awaken them to a life of purpose. Kami is fulfilled in us, we are fulfilled in Kami. May this way of mutual fulfillment be manifested in this world. May Kami's wish for true peace and the well-being of all people be fulfilled. So we humbly pray, so we earnestly pray. Recitation of Tenchi Kakitsuke. Ikiyami Konko Daji Tenshi Kami no Kami Shin ni Negae Okage wa Waga Kokoro ni Ari Kongetsu Konnichi de Kanome. Pray sincerely with all your heart. Be one with Kami. Kami's blessings begin within hearts grateful and caring in harmony and joy. Look to Kami always, now and forever. On this very day, pray. Ikiyami Konko Daishin Tenshi Kane no Kami Shin ni Negae Okage wa Waga Kokoro ni Ari Kongetsu Konnichi de Kanome. Pray sincerely with all your heart. Be one with Kami. Kami's blessings begin within hearts grateful and caring in harmony and joy. Look to Kami always, now and forever. On this very day, pray. Dear Kiyami Konko Daijin Sama and Infinite Life Force Tenchi Kami no Kami Sama, thank you so much for allowing all of us to be here this morning. You have blessed us in every aspect of our lives. You give us grace more than we realize. We apologize for any thoughts, words, or acts of irreverences we may be committing knowingly or unknowingly to ourselves, others, and even to you. Purify our hearts to be in line with yours. Today is a blessed day, and we take this very brief moment of our Sunday morning to say thank you. We give thanks to the current 6th spiritual head, the Reverend Hiromichi Konko, who serves at the Konko headquarters daily and prays for the well-being of all people. We give thanks to the Mitama no Kami-sama of the late Reverend Haruko Takahashi, who has established this church in 1940. Her determined will and dedication to Kami-sama has created ripples which extend to this day for 82 years. Her spirit continues to perform goyo for this church. We pray that the current resident ministers and church followers will be able to continue the legacy of this church for generations to come. With the invasion of Ukraine and various tensions occurring throughout the world is in a state of anxiety. Just when we thought we came out of the pandemic, the whole world is put into uncertainty yet again. Please ease this situation. Bring back peace to the world. We will continue to have trust in you. As we begin a brand new day in a brand new week, let our hearts be positive. May your good energy flow throughout our veins and heal us from the atomic level of our existence. At this time, let us take a moment to reflect upon the many blessings we receive and extend a deep prayer for the people in our lives who may be experiencing hardship and the various parts of the world that are experiencing suffering. We pray that the Kami-sama within all of us can shine through. Thank you. Silent prayer. Thank you. Adoration Prayer, page 7. We lift our eyes in awe toward heaven soaring above. We lift our eyes in awe toward heaven soaring above. Give our listening prayer toward earth's rich and deep. Living as such gifts of Kami's great giving, how happy and grateful we are. The mediation of Yano Konko Daijin has not stopped for a single day. The protection of the divine parent embraces all far and wide. The blessings of Kami flow without limits to all generations. The ways of Kami are mysterious and wondrous beyond our understanding. Day by day, every day, earnestly and reverently, we pray the virtues of Kami beyond the power of Kami. Shintoku Sanji, page 29. Awoge matsure れば天高く
仰ぎますれば天高く愚がみますれば地は明日し神の恵みに生かさるるにの幸いぞありがたき我が生きがにの取りすぎとひもかくる時のなく天地の神の御守りときちかきの隔てなし単一苦しみはよろずよにあまねく満ちて果てしなく感計らいはくすしくて人の思いぞ及ばざる我ら今月今日やび祭りてひたすらに神の御影をたたえますらん神の比例を仰ぎますらん
いろはいれMitama Prayer, page 12. Spirits of those who have gone before us, you have given the gift of life in this vast and endless universe. You discharge your duties faithfully, each according to the time of years. You will remember God eternally. Your life will go from generation to generation. Honor as the foundation of our society, and the roots of our families. Through the mysterious workings of harmony, you enter the Konko faith. You walk the way of Konko, respecting the will of the divine current. You amass great merit through your faith to take it to the world beyond and live to your descendants. Our gratitude is boundless for your loving favors. Revere you as the ancestral spirits of our own divine spirits. We beseech you, stand by us, each and every one. Receive the favor of family and help us to fulfill our tasks as people without feeling. Protect us, guide us, and enrich us, that we may never lose the way of faith, that we may come down to all generations, that we may live in peace and prosperity within our homes. Protect us, guide us, and enrich us. Dear Mitama spirits of the late Reverend Haruko Takahashi, deceased family, friends, spirits of the native Hawaiians, and beloved house pets that have passed. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here this morning. We have gathered here today at this regular Sunday service in acknowledgement of Kami-sama blessings and in remembrance of you. Although your spiritual form is no longer here with us, we know that your energy still surrounds us. You watch over us, protecting, guiding, and supporting us. In both big ways and small, you have touched our hearts, and so we would like to honor your divine spirit and pray for your eternal happiness and peace. As we begin a brand new day and brand new week, please continue to guide us. You are in our hearts always, and we want to thank you again very much for all that you do. Let us take a moment of silence to think about the people in our lives who have passed and extend a deep prayer of gratitude. 三時定位当選三時ヨーヨーの矢は
我が家の神我が神と心尽くしていつきますらな心尽くしていつきますらな尊き御親の神たちを海の子のために家の柱を沈めたてたまい初子のために世のなりわいを守り助けたまいかくり世の見えぬ境にましませども見尽くしみの見心は映し世に変わらせたまわず先見たまのまさきくさきわれたまいくしみたまのくしびに恵みたまいて志は薪の柱の動きなくなりわいは結ぶつなめのゆるびなく真心清らに励み努めしめたまいうからやからやわらぎあいて日にけにうらやすく楽しましめたまいついにうつし世のことを得て神の御門に参らん時には必ずしも迎え取りたまいに尽くしみをこらしめたまわんものと神の実りの絶えなるをかしこみかたじけな耳親の恵みのおぼろげならぬをうれしみ喜び申すことをみ心もすずやかにきこしめしたまえと申すあなくしびのみ親のみ霊あなくしびのみ親のみ霊あなとのみ親の神あなとのみ親の神
一度拝礼 read together page 73, the Konko Faith, our creed. The Konko Faith, our creed. We believe in Tenshi Kari no Kami, the divine parent of the universe. Our founder Konko Daijin embraced Kami's revelation and the divine mediator answered the call to eternal mediation. Our continuing goal from moment to moment is to realize Kami within each of us. We are fulfilled through Kami. Kami is fulfilled through us. The happiness of everyone is Kami's greatest wish. We give thanks for Kami's blessings, mysterious, wondrous, and mundane. Blessings begin with our own hearts filled with harmony and joy. We pray wholeheartedly to Kami, today and every day, trusting Kami and our loving parent, finding peace of mind. We live our faith in service to Kami, each other, and our world, nurturing and nurtured, mutually fulfilled. We revere those who have gone before us, spirits one with Kami, caring for us eternally. We respect and appreciate other paths taken by humanity towards spiritual fulfillment. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here for our regular Sunday service. Yesterday, I just turned 40 here. Yesterday was my birthday. So it's so funny, because when I was in my 30s, when people ask me, Edna, how old are you? And I'll be like, oh, like 35, 38, 39, whatever. And they'll say, oh, you're still young. You're still young. I say, thank you, thank you. And then, like one day before my birthday, a patient asked me, how old are you? And I said, well, tomorrow I'm going to be 40. And the man was like, what? You look so young. I was like, oh, maybe it's not bad. I really like that comment. You know, I thought you were only like 29 or 30. I was like, ooh, thank you. So, I don't really care anymore what people say, because I'm just thankful to be alive, to continually receive Kami-sama's blessings every single day. So recently, I started watching the Netflix series called, what's it called again? Humans, The World Within Us. So it brought me back to the days of human anatomy and physiology, which I really, really loved in college. That was my favorite subject. So it was, when I learned it in college, you know, I know about the general body and the organs, but like, for some organs, I didn't even know its functions. Like the kidneys, I didn't even know the kidneys had these little microfilters in it to filter out all the blood and get the junk out of your body and toxins and turn it into urine and eliminate it. And it just blew my mind away when I learned about these functions of our body, our individual organs. So anyways, that Netflix series really it breaks it all down and shows you what each function of our body. So that's what. So I already finished the nervous system, like the brain, and the heart. And so if you ever wanted to know if Kami-sama does exist or if God exists, just watch that series, because it's going to be like, literally, there's a world within us, a micro world, and you'll be like mesmerized of like, how does this happen? Does this take place every second? You know, Kami-sama trying to keep us alive. So anyways, I found out that we have approximately 80 billion neurons in the brain. You know, our brain is the consistency of tofu, they said. And it's mainly 80% water. Our brain is 80% water with a little bit of fat. About 80 billion neurons in our head. And it helps control our every senses and our movement and body function. So just yesterday, when we, so anyway, because of this, I want to talk about our habits that are hardwired into our brains, into our neurons. Just yesterday, when we no longer had to wear masks indoors, right? I took the liberty to go to the local supermarket without my mask. And then I was like, it feels so nice. But then it also felt kind of strange, you know? I felt kind of naked, you know? It was weird, like seeing people without their masks too. some of them still had their masks on, but I just took it out. And it felt kind of like strange, unusual. And that's because we've been hardwired already to wear our masks indoors for more than 2 years. We've been hardwired. And so it's going to probably take equally as long for us to get used to not wearing the mask. Mask wearing has now become optional at this church, so you can continue to wear it if you want to. We're totally fine with that, or if you take it off. But I hope you feel comfortable with us because we don't have our masks on. So we'll go maskless on this. We are in very crowded situations, or clearly we're kind of coughing or something like that. It is hardwiring of our neurons. If we habitually do certain things over and over again, they get hardwired into our system. Even like a smartphone, that's like hardwired. It's a really hardwired habit. Playing video games, waking up at a certain time, driving the car, working, doing daily routines, chores, come as habits that have been established within us for all these years. Right? At work, there's this kitchen, staff kitchen, and we have to use a code to get in. And some people, they come floating to our unit and they ask me, Edna, what's the code again? And I was like, I don't know. My finger knows it. It's weird. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't remember the number. But if I touch the pad, I'll know which one it is. It's really weird. So I was like, wait, I have to go there. I have to touch it. And then I touch it. Yeah, I've been working for over 12 years and I still didn't memorize the code. My finger did. And just like driving too. Driving from Wahiawa all the way to town. Sometimes I'm thinking about something's on my mind, yet I'm driving and it feels like I'm on autopilot. And then before I know it, I'm at Honolulu already. I was like, wow. It's kind of scary. Because it's like your body did the driving for you, and I wasn't concentrating behind the wheel. It's scary. It's really scary. But when of course like a car swerves at you, comes you automatically go whoa, and then you kind of steer away. You steer away from the danger. But like even if you feel like you're on autopilot, Kami-sama will immediately in a split second watch out for you. And that's how our nervous system works. It's so amazing. So anyways, practicing faith and being appreciative is one of those things that we should make a habit of. But practicing faith and being thankful, being grateful, it requires practice. You cannot just say, okay, you gotta be thankful starting from today. Give thanks for everything that your mommy did for you. Give thanks every time I do something for you, Clayton. You just can't do that automatically. It takes practice because it's not hardwired into our system. Like daily identification of what blessings or okage is and giving thanks for them. If we can get into the daily habit of giving thanks to the life force, to Kami-sama, to Buddha, to God, to whoever you think is supporting your life, it's really, really good for you. And even when we become demented, whatever that's hardwired is going to come out when we become demented, which is scary and exciting at the same time. Because if you've been complaining all your life, if you've always been angry, then that's going to come out in full force when we become demented. And I've seen so many examples of that in the hospital. Yet, you can tell if a person was a really thankful person when that person is demented. All they say is thank you. It's strange. And for example, all they sing the whole day is church hymns. Because you could tell, that lady must have been a very dedicated church person. So she's saying church hymns, she's quoting things from the Bible, and you can tell that was something that was very hardwired into her brain. So we have to make the practice of hardwiring gratitude in our brain, our nervous system. And that way we can become happy, thankful people. So just like daily mask wearing, where it became like habitual already for us, because we have like PTSD from the pandemic.
let's make it a habit to be thankful in our daily lives. Rewire those neurons, because with practice, they can get rewired. It doesn't matter how old you are. And that's what the documentary said. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you have the desire to change, if you practice it daily, those neurons are going to reconnect to a different group, and they can be hardwired as their new habit. So they showed this lady who was doing boxing. She's a middle school, high school teacher who does boxing, and she said, "Oh yeah, anybody can learn how to do boxing. All you have to do is practice and be focused." So with anything, even with daily gratitude, all you need to do is daily practice. At first, it may be hard to identify what blessings are, but if you keep being in a daily habit of, if something happens to you, big things, small things, like somebody gave you something, you're like, oh, this must be coming someone's okage. This must be coming someone's blessings. And just having the sun rise up every morning, we just give thanks and say thank you for the sun, because without the sun, we cannot live even for a second. So anyways, we could just make that our habit to give daily thanks, because it takes some practice. ありがとうございました。
Good morning. Thank you for coming to today's Sunday service. My sermon or my talks up here are not as cheerful as my sister's ones. I usually end up on the darker side for some reason, because that's what I experience a lot at work. Reverend Edna asked me to talk today since I'm here. So I was like, man, what am I gonna talk about? She was saying the same thing, like, I don't know what to talk about, but then she ends up coming with something good. Recently, at work, I guess what I felt was the power of manifestation, I guess, or the power of your thought. Whatever you say to the world, or whatever you say or bring into the universe, that can come true. Recently, I was like, man, we haven't had any Japanese patients. Like, there was like no Japanese patients for like a while. There's no Japanese tourists, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're getting more Japanese patients now. They all live like in Hawaii, so like I just always say I never have a chance to use my Japanese at work. Like I don't use it anymore. And then, like a couple of days that I've worked in the ER, we've had like Japanese patients. Like doctors will say, oh, I think we're gonna need your help. I was like, I just happened to do an interpretation of that, which is fine. But the most recent one that happened, it wasn't really a good thing. It was actually, the outcome wasn't the best. Could have been worse. But the doctor or the charge nurse says, David, we need help. Can you interpret? And I was like, okay. So I interpreted. The patient was having a heart attack, basically, like an ongoing heart attack that was like emergent and needed to be treated. And they were like, I was like, David, you speak Japanese? I said, yeah, because some of the doctors didn't know that I speak. So I was interpreting everything, and I was explaining, like, how are you feeling right now to the patient? They said, oh, it hurts, my chest hurts, my arms feel so heavy and numb. And it was like, he was like sweating like so much, like something, it's just not gonna be good. Like if we don't get if he doesn't get treated right away, like with the stent or whatever, then he might die, or he might code, I guess you could say. So I was explaining everything to the patient. We're getting the signatures and everything, and I was like thinking to myself, I hope my Japanese is good enough to interpret. I asked somebody, is my Japanese okay? And he said, yeah, it's totally fine. It's totally acceptable. And so the wife was actually, the patient was like almost not thinking of coming to the hospital. Like a lot of Japanese people do. They'll do gaman, or just accept the pain and hopefully it will go away. I had one person that did that, and that one died. That was a tourist, and it was an old lady. But this time, this guy who came in, the wife was also there, and the wife was saying, so like what's happening is like I think he's having a heart attack right now, and it's not a good situation. And the wife said, what is the worst that can happen? And I was like, the worst that can happen? First of all, they can get a stent inside. That would be the best thing. Then, if the stent doesn't work, then he can get surgery. And if surgery is, when I said surgery, I was like, the husband was like, that means you're gonna split open my chest. And I said, yeah, that would be like the next one. So what's the worst case scenario? It's like you can die. That's the worst case scenario. And I told the wife, straight up that your husband can die if he didn't come in right away. But then I guess I was mentioning all of that happening, and right after I explained that, I looked at the patient, and the patient was like looking up, and I said, "Oh man, it's like I'm having a hard time. It's like my arms are heavy." He kept raising his arms up and started looking up, and then I was looking at the patient, and then the people around me was like looking at the monitor, and I was like, "Is that artifact?" Like artifact meaning it doesn't look like a right rhythm. It looks like irregular, like somebody's squealing, and then. When I looked up, it was like that was an artifact. The patient was actually, the patient actually stopped talking, and then the patient basically was coding. So the heart stopped basically. So he was like dying in front of us. So I did whatever I was trying to do, and I did CPR and everything. We shocked him once. We did CPR again, and then we intubated him, everything. We put him on the ventilator, and then we brought him up to the cath lab. So I mean, he survived in the end. He did survive, but I don't know how he's doing in ICU right now. But the wife was like in shock, and she really didn't know what to say. But I thought at that moment I was like, I wonder if it's because I said that. Like right after I said, worst case scenario is he can die. Right after I said that happened. I was like, it was just like a bad feeling that I already had when I was looking at the patient. But yeah, so it's the power of what you put out into the mirror. I should have said, your husband's gonna do great. There's not gonna be any issues. We'll get up to the cath lab right away. He'll have a good recovery. But the wife wanted to know deeper, and I explained everything, and then that happened. So it's like, the power of manifestation, I guess, is what I thought was very powerful. And so, he did manage to go up to the ICU. Everything was treated. I still don't know what the outcome was of that situation. I just knew that I broke his ribs and everything when I was doing CPR. That's the normal way of doing it. But I did what I did. I reacted right away along with everybody else. They just all kind of like gathered all of a sudden. But I felt that, me talking about not having Japanese patients, or me saying to the wife, the worst case scenario is dying. What you say can make a big difference in the way your day goes. I always say to try to have good thoughts, to try to be optimistic, but the more optimistic you stay within yourself, like you say good words, you think good thoughts, a lot of the times good things are going to happen to you. Your day is going to go a lot smoother, smoother than what it can normally be. But if you keep complaining, then things can get just harder and harder. Especially when I was at work, it was like, man, this is so hard, it's so busy, and then the ambulances just keep coming and coming. I was like, I want it to stop, please stop. So, after a while, it stops. If you stop, once I stopped complaining, it was like it stopped. So I was like, okay. So this all is the power of the divine blessings begin within your own heart. So everything you think about, everything you feel, will make a difference in your life and the people around them. So just try to have good thoughts and just be careful of what you say, because things may come back, and you just have to be prepared for those things. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Good morning, thank you for joining today's service. Listening to Edna and David, I had one idea. Yesterday we had on the week when I joined the Ministers Conference in Italy and by Zoom. I was listening to their engaging in this meeting. I had an idea. In Japanese say, "Sasete itadashi." That's the expression. The first thing we learned at the Amagi Church, the Shugyo-sen, is the thought of "Sasete itadashi." Actually, Konko-sama said, if you practice faith with the heart of shinjin suru, there will be no blessing. But if you have the heart of sasete itadaku, shinji sasete itadaku, then you have blessings. What could be the difference between suru and sasete itadaku? Suru is just actual activism. No sense of gratitude, maybe obligations. But sasete itadaku can be aware of the blessing, being able to do this in gratitude. Some sense of gratitude or thankfulness is accompanied with sasete. So at the American Church, we don't say ご飯を食べると、食事をいただくと、ご飯をいただく。 掃除をする。掃除をさせていただく。ご新米で、ご新米を食べるとき、ご新米をいただく。in gratitude, parting of the ご新米。ご飯をいただく。parting of ご新米、food in gratitude。じゃあ、これ different。信じをする。信じさせていただく。We are ministers を声をしてやるとか、声をしてやるとか、の声をさせていただく。In business, we can get engaged in ごいます。Even coming to church、今日はお参りしていこう。行かないかんとか、そうしてさせて、参拝させていただく。In gratitude, we go to church to attend the service. There could be basic difference between suru and sasete. Even for doing anything, you see, I can talk this way because I can be able to speak. Being able to speak can be a blessing for cancer. So, お話をさせていただく。I don't say 話をする、説教をする。In gratitude, 信任をお話をさせていただく。So if you can be aware of this spirituality of させていただく in daily living, you can be practicing in a kind of called 信。Anyway, I want to introduce one message from the Konko Everyone is now able to receive the blessings of Tenchi Kaino Kami because Konko received blessing first. If there's one true believer in our family, then all our family members will become believers. If there's one family in a village who truly believe in this faith, all of the villagers will begin to receive divine blessings. Practicing faith is like one seed become one tilth. Therefore, those who initiate faith should sow a good seed. If the seed is bad, it will be a bad seed, and it will be difficult to raise no matter how hard you try. I put it from the Gorikai number 3, Jinkyu Chore number 37. This is one of my favorite teachings. I understand the difficult nature of this message. It can be quite difficult. If there could be such belief shown in the mediation, this Konko faith could be thriving profusely, like one rice seed being multiplied so much. Last year, I bought a handful of rice from Japan after attending the service of church. The Rector said, try to plant rice in a container. It can be ready to be replanted to multiply. I want to witness the growth of the rice. At the same time, I want to witness the growth of the church as I endeavor throughout my missionary work in the last 45 years. Thank you very much. Yano Kobai Tiki, Kaino Mishi, Wahiawa, Yari, Kongo, 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 Yano Kobai Tiki, Kaino Mishi, Wahiawa, Yari, Kongo, Kongo, Page 5, last paragraph. Even after this collection.
はい。どうぞ。私 Page 5, last part. Even after in his adoption, Bunji looked forward to visiting his birth parents when the opportunity arose. The night before a visit, father's home, Bunji would make a new pair of straw sandals and wear them to his father's home, where he would leave them and return home wearing his father's used sandals. This was one way Bunji expressed his sincere gratitude towards them for the opportunity they had given him.
When Bunji was 13 years old, Meijiro arranged for him to receive an education from the village headman, Mitsuemon Ono. Bunji was fortunate to have such a qualified individual for his teacher, as Mitsuemon was knowledgeable in areas such as astrology, navigation, days and directions, surveying, fortune telling, and mathematics. Through Mitsuemon, Bunji learned to read, write, and perform calculations using the abacus. He also gained considerable knowledge of history and proverbs. Although Bunji's education lasted less than 2 years, Mitsuemon helped shape Bunji's personality and character. Material written later as an adult by Bunji reflects Mitsuemon's logic and insight.
As Bunji approached adulthood, he worked diligently to succeed his hard-working adoptive father. However, this was a time when the livelihood of Otani village residents was becoming increasingly insecure. The provincial domain was to experience an epidemic and several famines in the late 1830s. The Edo, present-day Tokyo residence of the provincial lord, was destroyed in a fire in 1842, and during the 1850s, the province was struck by an earthquake and cholera outbreaks. These events had an adverse effect on the resources available to the Maita house, which raised concerns about their financial stability.
When adverse events such as these rose to the level deemed serious, the provincial government often invoked the law of frugality in order to deal with fiscal hardships. The edicts of this law were employed to help alleviate the financial hardship of the provincial government. The government would borrow money from rich merchants, which were not always repaid. At the same time, the government issued decrees to prohibit the consumption and displays of extravagant luxuries by people, especially rich merchants, that were deemed unacceptable for a member of a particular class. The decrees also defined spending levels that were expected by each class member. In addition, the government made the lives of farmers more difficult by collecting additional revenue and issuing additional domain inspections. During these years, the cost of goods rose rapidly, and by the 1860s, prices had soared 10 times higher than 30 years earlier, causing extreme distress for farmers in the province.
The tiny village was affected by economic hardships and natural calamities as well. The villagers experienced a drought in 1823, several years of damage due to cold weather beginning in 1832, and flooding in 1840, 1853, and 1856. These natural disasters caused poor crop yields, resulting in famine for the people in the tiny village. Their pain seemed extraordinary. Some farmers were driven to wretched lives. For many children, there was little food to eat, and only small amounts of donated rice kept starvation at bay. There were instances where people could do nothing but watch members of their family die, as they could not afford the medical treatment needed to cure their illnesses. It appears the only relief the farmers in Otani village experienced was when an exemption from the silver tax collections. This relief was a result of two factors. The first was because of the its location, far from the feudal lord's residence. Secondly, the village headman was aware of what was going on in the world and was very discreet.
Bunji worked at being a farmer as hard as he possibly could. He was not satisfied if he was idle while the sun was out and worked without rest. He found that the deeper the land was tilled, the more the crops were taken care of, the better the harvest would be. He also learned that although unexpected natural calamities occurred from time to time, diligent human efforts would be rewarded.
Bunji began to understand the nature of the relationship between heaven and earth through farming. Farming made visible the influences exerted by nature. The more he engaged in farming, the more sensitive he became to the works of nature. Bunji would be grateful for a welcome rain after a drought and thankful for a scorching sun after long rain. He expressed his gratitude for the blessings of nature when he experienced an abundant crop and realized the devastation of drought and famine. Through his experience, Bunji realized the existence of something beyond human power. These insights formed the basis of how he would continue to live his life.
In addition to farming, Bunji performed public works for his village. The village headman, Matsuemon Ono, often asked Bunji to deliver letters or monies to the office of the provincial lord, located more than 12 miles away. Bunji earned Matsuemon's trust, and as he did everything with sincerity and a high sense of responsibility, Bunji was appointed water keeper of the field dam, a position requiring a person of integrity, as the water keeper ensured equal shares of water were delivered to each village farmer. He worked tirelessly to accomplish each assigned task, whether it be water keeper or part of a work crew assigned to repair ponds and roads. He received a stipend for each of these activities, which contributed to his family's income and success.
When he turned 17, he took part in the pilgrimage to the Ise Shrine with 10 other villagers, including Shiemon, the son of village headman. The pilgrimage for blessings was a common practice during the Edo period, in which groups of people would surreptitiously leave their village to make pilgrimage to the Ise Shrine. This occurred once every few decades, and on this occasion, about 5 million people would visit statues.
Good morning, everyone. ただいまから歌を4つ歌わせていただきます。We sing 4 songs. So, page 57、真珠の栄光からです。よろしくお願いいたします。真珠の栄光。
我ら 嬉しき In a heart caught up in doubt and worry, I face my life every morning, wanting to shine, but somehow holding back joy and fear swirling in my heart. Till I know even one as small as I can run into someday and find a shiny, shimmering, brilliant light glowing from a path that never ends. And instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high, for we are all living in a world that embraces you and me with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. We're down and ready to surrender when times are hard and it seems so dark. by my side. Swinging arms together we will walk to the shining, shimmering, brilliant light flowing from a path that never ends. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high. For we are all living in a world that embraces unity with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives. Instead of losing hope or fearing what's ahead, let's keep on moving forward with our heads up high. For we are all living in a world that embraces unity with its love, supported by the prayers of those who care for us. We're never alone in our lives.
Arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you very much. See you next time. Thank you again for joining our Sunday service. It's a repeat announcement, but our Wahiawa Church Spring Grand Ceremony will be on Wednesday, April 13th, 6 o'clock p.m., not 6:30. We would like to begin a little bit early so that the Onorai Fellowship dinner will not run too late. So we hope you can join us 6 o'clock p.m., April 13th. はい、ありがとうございました。Have a good week. Bye.